outside of the dome that surrounds the Earth. So if you would drill another couple feet, maybe you.
Ladies, gentlemen, them, they, and all, it's showtime! Ha-ha! Although when we do say showtime, we do use that term very loosely, as what we've got in store for you today, well, our presenters have really no idea what they're gonna say because they're all unprepared. So strap yourselves in and brace yourself as the Some Nobodies present PowerPoint Showdown. So start that round of applause as we welcome this week's keynote speaker.
All right. Hello, and thank you for joining us for our conference. Now, tonight you're going to be hearing from some professionals, exactly 4 professionals. And we're going to be discussing our topic, which is grass. Now, with me as always, we have Dylan, who is a little rusty. Now, we have Jesus Christ, who is no relation. Please don't ask any questions on that. We have myself, W. And then tonight's special guest, we have Mr. Nick Jordan from Comedy. Nick, how are you, sir?
I'm just really happy to be on here. It's so long travel from comedy to get here to be on the podcast, but it's fun. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Dylan, he's one of our in-house producers. He did a lot of research on grass, and your name just kept coming up. And we don't really know why. We don't get into federal paperwork, but we figured you were the man to talk about this. So now listen, for those who are joining us for the first time, each speaker will be given roughly 10 minutes to present our topic of the week. Grass. Now, after each presentation, there'll be a short Q&A from the panel. And of course, we invite every single member of the audience to ask as many questions as humanly possible, and we will take all the time necessary to answer every single one. And after the 4th presentation, the panelists will vote on which speaker will be awarded the $50,000 scholarship to Some Nobodies University. Special thanks to Some Nobodies Patreon members. And our Nostalgia Prize of the Week, which, sorry, I was moving. I didn't get this ready yet. Here it is. Let's see. From one of our Patreon members, we have is this a switchblade?
Oh,
it's a comb. Oh, cool.
Well, fuck that, dude. I can't even use that. What are we doing, dude?
Sick. Right, cool.
I have to
Let my hair
brush
down.
my ass with that? Yeah.
So we have a switchblade ass scratcher. Once again,
I could also scratch my ass with it, or comb my ass with it.
Yeah, that is true. I've seen your Instagram page. Now, listen, before we get on with our presentations, there's actually a message from our last week's winner. So if you just bear with me for a second, let's see. Here we go.
Hello, Michael Colby. I just beat you at the show called PowerPoint Showdown. And I'm just like so much better at it, and it's just because I've been practicing like all the time. That's really the only reason. And now because of that, my life is just like so amazing. And you might win one day, if you keep trying. But I understand you've been trying, but you're gonna have to try a lot harder, if you want to win one day, because otherwise it's not gonna happen. Because whatever preparation you did for this show, as you saw, it didn't work. So gotta try harder, Michael Colby. But you know what? I believe in you, and I believe you can do it. You got this, because my name is Got This, and I think that's probably.
Okay, it literally goes on like that for about 25 minutes. So we're just going to stop that right now.
I forgot that we had Tom York from Radiohead on our program.
Bro.
He really did destroy us.
He did. And it was nice of him to fix his eye for this too, which was
sort of a little bit. He fixed it a little bit.
That's true.
I love getting my motivational videos from Swedish homeless people, dude. That was good.
Honestly, they're the cheapest ones on Cameo.
Yeah.
We are a sieve of money after this university.
Send the bar of soap. Yeah.
All right, now listen, we do have some more adieus, but before we get to them, we're going to go ahead and get on with the presentations tonight. Now, I'm the keynote speaker. I'm going to go ahead and go first. So once again, our presentation is on grass. So let's see what we got going on today. Okay, now listen. Now, when it comes to grass, there are a lot of things that a lot of people will tell you. There's ins and outs, there's color grades, there's a lot of theories that go with it, what it grows out of, what it grows into. But to me, the best thing about it is the benefits of touching grass. I don't know if you know this, but it's just out there. It's free. You can touch almost all of it as much as you want, and it all feels good on most parts of the skin. Now, we're going to get into exactly what parts of the skin and what parts of grass I touch with said piece of skin in the next couple slides. So next slide, please. Yeah, so listen, first and foremost, what is grass? A lot of kids ask me, they're like, hey, W, what's grass? And I say, easy. Number one, it's kind of like stuff on the top of trees. And they look up and they go, oh, but I know they don't get it. So I go to number two quickly. It's nature's carpet. And they understand that, except for a couple of those creepy guys behind 7-Eleven, which they kind of give me those giggles. I'm like, no. Like if the grass on top of the tree was carpet, that's what I'm talking about. Now, number three, which is merciless on the battlefield. It's true. It gets covered with bones. It gets covered with blood. It gets covered with really just dignity and sorrow and a loss of life. Grass takes a lot for us and from us. Number four, it also dislikes children and small pets. There's a lot of times you'll come in, you'll see that grass is trying its hardest to beat the shit out of kids' knees, and it'll leave little scuff marks on their knees and elbows, and kids like, fucking grass. And I'm like, whoa, that's nature's carpet, my friend. So really, when you think about it, it's got to do with the symbiosis. The tree likes to shake hands with humans. We like to rub our butts on the grass. We kill people on said grass. Circle of life comes back around. Next thing you know, lions are being held up. Next slide, please. Now, touching grass. touching grass. Now, there's a couple things that happened here. Now, we went through some phases of touching grass. Now, a lot of people back in the Gen Z days, they'll tell you it used to be as simple as just going out there and touching grass yourself. What happened was a little bit after that, it became pretty popular on TikTok to start doing dances on grass, which made people think the dance was nature's stage or the grass was nature's stage. And that turned out to be not so much wrong, really. I mean, I rub butts on stages. I rub butts on grass. Now, it also implies Target spends too much time online and needs to go outside. It was what? Uh-oh. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, all right. Now it really comes down. I forget what that slide says, as a matter of fact.
TikTok something about grass. Gen Z.
I know it was TikTok. Gen Z things. There was some TikTok things on there. I forget exactly what that was, which is why I made this slide to begin with, because I'm not going to remember this stuff. Thankfully, our producers got this going. Now, it implies Target spends too much time online. Yes, once there was a grass-touching app that was developed by TikTok itself, not the same TikTok of the social media, different TikTok. It's like an American TikTok, nowhere near as good. But it started putting this app where it was like a physical ASMR where you would try to touch it as though it's real grass, and it wouldn't work really well. And that actually caused fight at stupid Grandpa's Memorial Dinner because they didn't understand how to work the app. And what they didn't understand further was the app didn't work. So there's no way for them to understand things that cannot work. Once again, it's nature's carpet. Next slide, please. Now, how to touch grass. I could tell you, honestly, I could spend days answering this email. I get this email all the time. It's yeah, how do you touch grass? And I'm like, look, first, ensure using correct appendages, things that are acceptable. We have A, B, and C. You can normally touch grass. There's no problem. You can actually injuredly touch grass, and we talk about that about the battlefield. Usually when young, dumb men go to war, they usually touch some grass with their injured faces or bodies or arms. Also, the hairy part of your arms. Now, grass loves hair more than almost anything. Deers, on the other hand, don't like human hair very much. Grass, though, loves human hair. Now, when it comes to distorted limbs, I'm all about it. Now, there are a lot of controversies on 4chan whether or not distorted arms can touch grass. I don't see why not. I'm not one of those kind of people. I got off of 4chan because of that. So to me, no matter what kind of arm, no matter what side of arm using, touch the shit out of that grass. Next slide, please. Now, who needs to touch grass? Easy question. One, wine moms. And that's one of the things I pictured over here. Now, when you think about it, grass is nothing but nature's cat, right? You get out there, and when you get stressed out about life and you have a cheap wine that's really not doing the thing you need to do, and you have your partners yelling at you, and probably your 6 other kids are yelling at you, and your cat's yelling at you, just get out there and just start rubbing that grass softly while you chug that stupid sangria. Also, incels. Incels, almost above all, need to get out there. Because honestly, if you tell them it feels like a woman, they'll probably believe you. They'll get out there and touch it, and then they'll be touching it for days, which will probably turn them outside of incels. Have no idea. Now, gamers. See, here's the thing that a lot of people question. Do gamers need to get outside? They spend so much time in virtual reality, you would think that they would virtually know what that feels like. Not true. They need to get out there and understand it. It's not made of pixels. It's made of chlorophyll. Now, number 4, clones who haven't ever left their pods. Yeah, this is actually part of the clone study guide. What we tell them is, first, look at the internet, understand what war is. Number 2, touch grass. After that, clones can literally do whatever they want. And we tell them, hey, fall down as much as possible, as grass is going to kick you right in the shins and the kneecaps. But keep in mind, it's nature's carpet. Now, 3... Okay, yeah, I get it now. 4 are the clones. That's like the fupa part. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now effects of touching grass on cranial nerves. Now, some people say, well, grass touches so well, should I take my skin off and rub my insides with it? To that I say, you do you, my friend. I'm not going to endorse that. Because if you did want to touch your cranial nerves onto grass, you'd probably need to go in through the nose, pull slightly, make a tiny cut where your mustache is, flip it off like it's a Deadpool hood, and then rub your face down into the grass. The only problem is I literally do not know how to reverse that situation. So you're kind of stuck, which is why I do not endorse that. Next slide, please. Okay, now there's good grass, there's better grass, and then there's the best fucking grass in the continental US. Now, I've changed this by doing different color grades of grass. Now, what you're going to see is there's some pretty good grass in the middle, which is the orange, right? Now, the more pink you get, that's going to be some pretty shitty grass. Now, the pretty shitty grass is going to be in the southwest part of the country. Now, the more green that I added to this map, that's going to be the best grass that there is. And I label this best because, as we know, green stands for money. Money's the best. Next slide, please. Now, in conclusion, I love grass so much that I went on Shark Tank to try to develop these aquatic slippers. Now, what they do is they actually feed betta fish while you walk around in the shallows. What they don't like was that the part that goes in between your toes was not biodegradable. So because of those reasons, all 5 of the sharks were out. But I just love grass. I think you should touch it with the bottoms of your feet, the tops of your hands, the backs of your heads, the inside of your butts, and any part of your stomach that you can get out there. Now, literally, if you're a baby, if you're a drunken mom, if you're some kind of car that is also a human being, unless you're a deer, get out there and touch that grass, my friends. Because honestly, what else is it for? Carpet's there for touch. Grass is nature's carpet. I plead my case. My case is closed. Clap. I'll take any. I forget how this show goes. I'll take any and all questions that anyone has as of yet. Oh, Dylan, who is a little rusty.
Yes. Thank you for the presentation. It was excellent. Sublime, if I could say. Now, you talked a little bit about wine moms, and you mentioned that you don't practice sangria and you don't have no crystal ball. Now, if you had $1 million, what kind of wine would you spend it on, and where would you drink it on the grass?
Well, first, I'd pop a cop in Sancho's ass is what I would do if I had $1 million. But I guess that it would be a nice white sangria. I forget the question, but I would drink it outside on grass.
All
Next
right.
question, please. Nick J.
The different ways in which you should touch grass, do you have any thoughts on which way you should touch grass first? Would you go with the straight hand, the injured hand, the hairy hand, or the distorted hand? What's the best way to touch grass?
Yeah, very good question, and thank you for asking this. I really should have went over this. Now, you want to treat grass as though it's an estranged camel, right? Which is you want to lead at it with the back of your hand first, and you want to treat it like a reverse Chris Pratt on the dinosaur. And you want to slowly get down there and slowly touch it with just the follicles of the hair on the back of your hand. And then when you're aroused enough, rip all the clothes off and get down in there.
So arousal is key. Okay.
Self-arousal is key. Yeah. And I'm not the one to speak for grass. So consent, sure. Not in Colorado. It's not a law.
Yeah, we don't need to be raping grass. That's not good.
No.
Okay.
Jesus Christ of no relation.
Yeah. I have two questions. I started with just one, but I have another one after I asked my initial question. The map of the United States that you showed us, you said the pink was the worst grass.
Oh boy, is it.
The green was the best grass. There is a lot of white in this. I was just wondering, is there any grass on the white, or is that just like sort of a mediocre grass?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I didn't get to this part of the country. As you can see, I took a plane from Georgia, which is where I kind of drove around a little bit looking for a Wawa and did some grass recon. I landed over here in Missouri, which is where I really got lost, but a lot of my research was done here. I think that I was in the desert for quite a while. I woke up and my journal was full, and that's how I know it's very, very bad grass. No matter how much I smoked, nothing happened. When I got up north, I was trying to run from the cops, and I was going to Canada, and that's when I was like, wait a minute, this is some good-ass grass up here. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, if you were looking for a Wawa, you literally didn't go anywhere where you would have found one.
Well, once I didn't find one in the Georgia, South Carolina, or North Carolina region, whatever that state is over on the right. Once I didn't find one there, I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My second question, can we kick Dylan off of this show?
No. Producers have confirmed I'm here to stay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true. As the in-house producer, he has turned that one down pretty quickly.
Also, hold on, W. Did you just call the orange grass to the right of the map Georgia?
Yes, he did.
Like you've never looked at a fucking map of the United States before?
Listen, I know for a
That's
fact
North Carolina
Georgia,
and South Carolina.
Up. I know you're swelling up on your geography because you live in Georgia right now, but I'm pretty sure that's the South or North Carolina. I have no idea.
It's both. It goes in it. There's two states right there, bro.
How's the grass there? Is it good?
No, shitty grass.
Okay.
It's white, bland grass over there. That's why I'm just...
Then my map stays. All right, perfect.
Good.
Well, it seems like my presentation is done, and thank you very much. Now, up next, we're going to have Mr. Nick Jordan, if that's going to be okay. Nick Jordan, let's see if we can get the producers. God damn it. Okay, here we go.
As I begin my presentation, I just want to take my glasses off to let y'all know that I know more shit than you do. Grass. Shit is everywhere. Next slide, please.
Solid start.
All right. Now, there are 4 kinds of grass. You got your mowing grass, number 1, and the neighbors are going to bitch about that because theirs is always going to look shittier than yours, but you don't let that get to you, okay? You got to mow your grass. Keep it going. You got to have a nice one for the HOA so they don't kick you out the neighborhood. Number 2, you got the growing grass. That's where the landlord comes in and complains because you didn't do number 1 on the mowing grass, and they come and evict you after they try to raise the rent for the 5th time in the same year, which doesn't make any fucking sense. They haven't sent anybody out to mow the grass, and they just let it grow. 2 grass is not good. Blowing grass, aka shotgunning, is what you do with whores that you don't have game to spit to. So when you're rolling up some grass, you're like, hey, you know what would be a good idea? I don't really know how to smoke grass. Why don't you just blow it in my mouth? And they're so dumb, they're like, okay. And they blow it in your mouth, and that's how babies happen. So 3 grass is kind of a tricky grass. Now 4 is a hoeing grass. Don't get that confused with 3, the blowing grass, because I know you're still thinking that's how babies happen. It's not. That is actually where you use tools to hoe and expand the grass's terrain because you open up the soil, you let it breathe, you let Mother Nature come out and really just grass it the fuck up. Nature's carpet. Next slide, please. Now, this is one of my favorite quotes from the Association of Gay, Grass and Yard. Zeal is a volcano, the peak of which the grass of indecisiveness does not grow. And that's from the great poet Khalil Gibran. And what that means is you got to mow your grass, man, because if you're thinking about it, your landlord's going to come in and bitch and kick you out and raise the rent up. And that's not good. Next slide, please. Grass in Spanish. When I'm not longer rapping, I want to open up an ice cream parlor and call myself Scoop Dog. Now, whoever the producer is a dick because Snoop Dogg was in Jamaica when he did this, and those exclamation points are super Spanish. So I don't know what that has to do with anything about that. But if you do enough of the number 3 type of grass, the blowing grass, you'll be around a lot of girls. You'll be making a lot of babies. And what do babies love? They love ice creams. So you're going to end up opening an ice cream shop. Next slide, please. This is called the vagina grass. I'm glad we got a good diagram of how the vagina grass looks. So if you look at D, that is the clitor grass, and you're going to have to rub that follicle to really get the grass going up, and that's what we were talking about on the number 4 grass, the hoeing. You might need to use some tools. Yeah, Jesus Christ knows what to do. You just rub it in a circular motion, Jesus of the ground, and you open it up, and that exfoliates the grass to allow you to put your seed into the ST part of the grass, and then the seed trickles down to the ES part of the grass, and this is how babies are made, and this will in turn make you have an ice cream shop. What's showing action of pollen? Yeah, pollen's a weird word for sex. That's actually on page 4 of the Association of Gay Handbook. So that's good information to know right there. Next slide, please. Thanks for backing me up, Jesus. I know you knew this shit. Nuestra agencia. So much Spanish shit today. Did y'all think that I was Puerto Rican? What is this? Aquí puedes añadir una breve descripción del tema de que quieres hablar. Por ejemplo, si quieres hablar sobre Mercurio, podrías decir que es un planeta más cercano al Sol. So what that means is Mercury is really fucking close to the sun and it has 0 grass. Because if the sun is real close to the grass, if you got a lot of heat on the grass, you're not going to have good grass. That's why if you go back to W's original map of where good grass is, there was a bunch of shitty grass where the sun was real close to. Because you need sun for grass to get the vagina clitor grass open, but too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And that's something to remember right there. Next slide, please. A brief history of grass. I'm so glad we get to cover this. So the first grass of all time was actually in France. Before that, no grass. They actually like to tell you ancient Sumerians had grass first. That's fake news. So in the 1700s, in France, some guy smoking a cigarette started a lawn, maybe for a cow. He didn't know. He was just enjoying his time being French and smoking cigarettes. But he created grass, and he rubbed the clitor grass, and it made more grass. So by then, we're going to fast forward a little bit because we don't have that much time. But by 1830, the patent office produced the first mechanical lawnmower patent. And that's where you get the number 1 type of grass, the mowing type of grass. So real smart guy by the name of J. Edgar Grassness. He came up with that, and he really revolutionized and put us into the industrial revolution of grass. So that was real benchmark grass right there. We get to 2013, the future of grass. This is where stuff gets a little weird and Minecraft comes along. The first digital lawn care application of grass was actually invented. And the incels started coming up and they forgot what the meaning of grass was. Like, when you read the Bible and word of mouth kind of fucks up the translation, Jesus Christ knows what I'm talking about. So what grass should have been in the beginning of time, back when it was just French people smoking cigarettes to fuck cows, was you touch grass to open up chakras, to be more one with the universe and the grass and Mother Nature. And then 2013 came along, Bill Gates, he likes having sex with child slaves. He created Minecraft and kind of distorted our thought and changed up where we were on our belief of grass. Now, if we can take a step back, actually, to 1947 in Leamington, New York, the first HOA was enforced laws for all homes. Now, these people are real pieces of shit because grass should be for everyone, but they came in and tried to regulate it because they're pretty fucking greedy. And this is where you get grass number 2, the growing grass. These fuckers came in and they just wanted to put prices on everything. And I'm sorry, I get into this hippie shit when I talk about grass because I really care about the essence of what grass was all about. And when you put greed and capitalistic disintegrity on things from nature, it really it grinds my gears. Next slide, please. In conclusion, what the fuck is that picture? So what you don't want to do, I'm going to wave my glasses at you so you know that I'm knowing shit. In conclusion, there are 4 types of grass, the 4 elements of grass. Capitalism has made a mockery of what grass should be. And if you lose the plot and you only care about money, the color of grass, which is actually an Illuminati ritual that has kind of been thrown in there to disprove what the original point of grass was, you end up kissing horses in the mouth. And the old saying goes from Khalil Gibran, if you kiss a horse in the mouth, you can't fuck grass. And that's all I have for you today.
Oh, excellent. Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Nicholas Jordan?
Any questions?
I have no real questions, but I do have a statement.
No, go ahead. The floor is yours, Jesus Christ.
I really appreciate your anti-capitalist message here. I would also like to say you are, in fact, quite a bit funnier than Chris Harvey. So
wait, hold on. Hold on. I'm taking a video of this shit. Say that one more time into the camera so I can send this to his bitch ass. Go ahead. Jesus Christ.
Nick Jordan, you are 1,000 times funnier than Chris Harvey.
Got it. We got it. Nice. Now, I do have a question, though, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah.
Now, we went over a little bit on doing a number 1 with your lawn, doing a number 2 with your lawn, and what happens when the sun is too close. Now, what happens when the moon is too close to the grass, and how does that affect the number 2?
Oh, this is a great question. We get this all the time because scholars have been arguing about this shit for about the last 45 years because some dickhead came along and goes, well, the moon controls the tide, which controls the water, which would actually cause your grass to grow more. And that would affect the number 2 grass, the growing grass. But actually, the moon doesn't really have anything to do with it. All that has to do with grass growth is the proximity to where sun is. That's it. The sun is the only answer. So the moon is kind of a distraction, and you lose the plot of what grass is all about.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, no problem, man. I hate when people talk about some moon shit. That's like, oh, the Earth's flat, the moon controls the growth of grass. Go fuck yourself, dude. Get another YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you tell him, Dylan.
Yeah.
I have one question. Why was Mercury in this presentation?
Because the Spanish guy was talking about it. There was an argument back in 1750, right after Galileo discovered France and figured that planets existed. Mm-hmm. And they used Mercury as an example for why grass didn't grow in areas like the Southwest or the white places of Georgia, not South Carolina or North Carolina. So Mercury was kind of just used as an example, an exhibit into evidence, if you will.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I don't think we have any more questions. Awesome job, Mr. Nick Jordan. Thank you very much. And let's see. Up next, we're going to go ahead and get with the man without which none of this would be happening. Jesus Christ of relation.
Hello, everyone. I don't, I am just going to say this once. I am no relation to the Jesus Christ that you do know and are thinking about. It just happens to be my name. So I am, of course, a grass expert. But here is my thesis. Lawns are bullshit. Fuck grass. I'm an expert at it, but also I fucking hate it. I can't stand the sight of those little green razor blades. Everybody's like, oh, grass is so soft, but it's not. Have you ever touched a piece of grass? It has these little spikes on it that's just going to cut the fucking shit out of you when you roll around in it. If you are having relations on the grass, your ass is going to be all red and cut up at the end of it. It's not, it doesn't feel good on your delicate bits. If there's no rain for too long, it gets dry and hard. It's terrible. It's the worst stuff ever. And we'll get into why throughout my presentation. So let's get to that now and get to the next slide, please. Now, I'm sorry about the language on the first slide. But lawns are dumb. Grass is boring. It's terrible to look at. It's green. And when you mow your lawn, it's all the same length. Like, how boring is that? You're driving through a neighborhood and you're just seeing houses and everybody's fucking yard looks the same. It's just flat grass. Who cares? Dumb. Psalms 37:2 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then he put this beautiful grass on the earth. But then some fucking stupid humans cut it all down so that it's right against the brown of the dirt. And that's the worst thing that you could do to it. I say let your grass grow. There's all sorts of flowers in there. There's all sorts of little fruits and vegetables that you can eat. It's wonderful stuff if you just fucking stop mowing it. If we just stopped mowing our grass, all the good plants would grow and we wouldn't have to worry about this fucking stupid grass anymore. Next slide, please.
So, longest Bible quote ever.
If you don't know where the Bible quote ended, then you need to read your Bible again. Now, in this slide, I'm going to show you how the grass actually grows. It's stupid. The way that grass grows is stupid. It's useless. The higher you go up away from the dirt into the rocks, there's more thickness. Because the grass that grows on the rocks is hardier. But really, it's all useless. It's all pointless. It's all stupid. Look at how ugly this grass is. It's terrible. I don't want to look at it anymore. You know what? I'm not going to explain how the grass grows because I don't want to look at it anymore. Next slide, please. People who like grass are suckers. Look at this beautiful tree, this beautiful representation of a tree. And there's a smaller tree right next to it. God, what a beautiful sight. Nature provides these trees, these beautiful plants, all sorts of things that grow food that humans can eat, that humans can use, that humans can smoke and get high, that humans can, slice up and put on their pizza and get high. There's all sorts of plants that'll get you high and it'll keep you fed. But instead, we just put grass on everything because humans are the worst thing for this planet. We're taking the plants, we're getting rid of them to put what? Flat grass on there? What are we doing to this planet? People, look, I'm sure that there are people here. Well, not here. You guys are too smart. You guys are too good. But there are people watching who like grass. And I would just like to say one thing to the people who like grass, and that's fuck you. Like, get a life. Learn some biodiversity. We got to get this grass out of here and get some moss growing. Well, let's get some vines growing. Let's get some things that we can actually use, things that are going to help the planet, and not these fucking lawns anymore. Next slide, please. Now, I knew that this was going to happen. I knew I was going to get heated, because it always happens when I'm talking about grass. So I would like to talk about things that make me happy instead of stupid fucking grass. I would like to talk about dinosaurs. Now, everyone knows that the best dinosaur was the Triceratops. That dinosaur, that motherfucker was eating grass all the time and also had all these big spikes on his head. So he could just fucking destroy a T-Rex or a Velociraptor or whatever else was trying to eat him. He has a big plate on the back of his head to protect his neck, just like the Wu-Tang Clan says. And they're just the best. But really, all dinosaurs are great. We got flying dinosaurs. We got swimming dinosaurs. We have dinosaurs who ate meat. We have dinosaurs who ate plants. Look, we're adults here. We're all adults here. The problem with adults is when you're an adult, you don't talk about dinosaurs anymore. And dinosaurs are great. And when we do talk about dinosaurs, it has to involve fucking Chris Pratt for some reason. Let's get him away from dinosaurs. And let's just, instead of going to see Hollywood produced movies about dinosaurs, let's just think about dinosaurs. Let's just talk about dinosaurs. It should be all anybody's ever talking about, really. I feel a lot better now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm done talking about stupid grass, and I'm thinking about Triceratops. I'm thinking about Velociraptors. I'm thinking about Stegosauruses. I'm thinking about pterodactyls, and I am feeling fucking great. So I would like to move on to the next slide now that I'm feeling just so good. And now that I feel better, let's get back to grass and why it should go away. Where do lawns come from? Ego. You know who loves their lawns? Boomers. They love the sense of superiority that a nicely mowed lawn gives them. They think that you care that their lawn looks better than yours. I got a problem for I got something to tell you, Glenn. I don't give a fuck about what your lawn looks like. I know that it looks better than mine, but guess what? I got all sorts of plants growing. I can make tea, I can make a salad. I can, just pick something off of something that's growing in my yard and I can eat it. Your lawn can't do that. It's just a nice mowed lawn. Boring. You suck. Do lawns have any use? No, they don't. They're around your pool, which all the grass is dead underneath your pool, and all the grass around your pool is dead because your fucking annoying grandchildren are splashing chlorinated water all over the place. That sucks. Are lawns important? Have you fucking been paying attention? No. Lawns are useless. Let's get rid of them. God, plant a fucking garden or something. This grass, it's not doing anything for anybody. Should we even have lawns to begin with? Fucking no. Have you been paying attention to this? I am a grass expert. And what I'm telling you as a grass expert is that grass is useless. It's collecting all sorts of bullshit that who cares, and we can't use it for anything. And also, it feels bad on your ass and balls. Next slide, please. Now, there are some alternatives to grass. Rocks look pretty cool. They're not really doing anything for us. Native plants, better than grass. But really, what are we doing? We can put down leather. You get those little pyramid spikes. You put those around the edge for your like landscaping. That's fucking metal. We can use human leather. I'm so mad about grass. We can use human leather, and that is metal AF. There's nothing more metal than leather made out of a human. See that episode of Metalocalypse where they use human leather. You can see how metal it is. There's weeds. You can pass the duchy upon the left-hand side if you're growing weeds in your yard. Or you can just dig a big hole and throw your garbage in it. That would really piss off Glenn. I think I might do that. Next slide, please. Now, in conclusion, if we don't fucking stop with this grass bullshit, the grass is going to turn on us. It's going to turn into a big giant monster, and we're going to have to kill it anyway. So we may as well do it before it's a big monster, before there are any sort of deaths or property damage. We can take care of the grass now before it kills anyone, before it does any damage to anything. No animals will be hurt if we just get rid of all the grass. The animals will love it because there will be all sorts of stuff for them to eat, stuff for them to play in, stuff for them to hide in. It would just be a better world if we just got rid of... I am sorry that I spent so much of my life learning about grass, because once I found out everything there is to know about grass, all I know now is that grass fucking sucks. Let's get rid of it all. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Are there any questions? Nick.
Jesus Christ, this is not a question. I'm going to do my best not to blaspheme, but as a man of grass, a grasser, your anti-grass rhetoric was absolutely reprehensible. And your slanderous comments about Jurassic Park whilst talking about dinosaurs, absolutely preposterous. As a man of faith, as a man of grass, I hope only terrible things happen to you and nobody else but you.
That's not the meanest thing that's ever been said to me. Anybody else have any questions? W.
Well, thank you very much. I will have to check the records. I'll say this presentation was roughly 90% inaccurate. But I did have a question for you, though. Being you said grass has no place or no purpose, knowing that rice, which is the most abundant food source in the world, knowing that rice is grass seeds, please comment on how useful you think that grass is not.
Well, if people would let the grass seed, then it would be useful. But for the most part, people just kill it before it has any chance to. I'm not technically anti-grass. I'm anti-pruned, manicured lawn grass. I don't like it when people take nature and turn it into nature's carpet. It looks bad and it's useless for anyone.
Yeah.
Yes, Dylan. Although you are a little bit rusty, I would like to hear your question.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the presentation. You covered a lot of ground, from energy conservation to human relations to lawns. And I was wondering if you could between the three of gas, grass, and ass, which you do assign fuck, marry, and kill?
Well, obviously, I'm going to kill grass.
A given, yes.
I'm going to. You know what? Let me change my answer. I'm going to kill gas. I'm going to fuck grass, and I'm going to marry ass.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You ain't wrong. We do have a question from the audience. Blue Shoe Nick would like to know: can you take your shirt off and show us your leather?
Oh, we're getting horny after.
Well, that was actually just a yes or no question. It doesn't have to.
They said fucking
to
him
the
up.
bit. Hell
yeah.
Oof. Oh geez.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Cool.
Say, yep.
Can someone ask another question?
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
One of my favorite Bible quotes is Psalms 37:2, and the way you said it was just so beautiful. Could you say it one more time?
Absolutely. I believe it's grass fucking sucks. Why don't you let the weeds grow? Give us some plants and heal the planet and stop cutting your grass because
Amen.
it looks terrible.
Amen. My brother in Christ. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Nick, can you have Jesus Christ say that thing about Chris Harvey and record it now that his shirt's off?
I will say anything you want me to say about Chris Harvey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Christ, of obviously no relation, thank you very much for your time and your expertise and your very sweaty chest hair. We have one more presentation to go tonight. We do have some adieus, but fuck them. We have
someone
Mr.
watered
Dylan.
an indoor soccer course.
Seriously. It's gross over there.
AstroTurf, not grass.
What to tell you?
You look like a human mullet. There's like walking away from me. All right, Dylan, who's a little rusty. Let's see what you got about grass.
Let's get me back in fighting shape. Let's do this. All right. My name is Dylan. It's been a while since I've done this, but today we're going to talk about grasses, a study of grasses for pre-K. It's an easy guide to teaching kids about weed or weeds. There are going to be a lot of colorful colors. There are going to be a lot of pastels. Everything's going to have a face because kids learn easier when a thing has a face and looks at them. Let's see if this grass is going to open our eyes so we can look the children in the future. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now this is going to be a topic about Mary Jane, aka weed, with an exclamation point. I don't emote very often, so you're just going to have to assume that the exclamation point is there if I don't ever pronounce it. Now, the price of weed is a user-generated database of marijuana prices. Users may submit prices and quantities for transactions, and their location is geolocated in order to generate a price index for states and cities. This is great for kids who are increasingly younger on the internet to find increasingly cheaper sources for the marijuana. I don't endorse smoking generally at all, and yet it keeps coming up for my presentations on the show. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, there are several types of cannabis. We're going to talk about them right now. Number one, sativa. Types that make slides funny. Now, sativa, it kind of like boosts you up a little bit. It's the one that's very good for creative types because it really kind of boosts your brain starts ticking. Now, it's bad for those of us with anxiety because it starts your brain ticking. And if you're a creative with anxiety, you create conflict with people in your lives, and it makes things harder to interact with when you're sober. The second type of marijuana is not sativa. It's a type that makes your slides late. Personal experience, maybe. Now, we're talking about slides like on a playground because this is a presentation for children. So this is the type that, you take some sativa and you're waiting at the top of the slide and you're waiting for a long time and suddenly you feel someone like tap the bottom of your ankle because you've been staring at a cloud for a while because it reminds you of the mashed potatoes you had for lunch. And number three, the third type of marijuana is Bob Saget, aka BS, rest in peace. This is the kind your friend usually has when you can't afford any. This is called BS, such as when I was growing up in Midwest Ohio, known as skunkweed or ditchweed, because it is either reek like a skunk or literally grown in a ditch because that's where nobody is going to go look for it in Midwest Ohio. The fourth type of marijuana is purple monkey balls. It's a personal favorite. It's mixed in with a few other things. I mean, none of this is technically legal on a federal level, but like purple monkey balls is really never going to be accepted in a polite society. Personal favorite, I only do it by myself or if I'm at a party with a lot of other people who don't know who I am. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, several usage methods. This is how you do grass. There are several different ways. A lot of people will say partake. Now, in my humble opinion, injections and suppositories are most awkward, but with one B, because we're talking about suppositories. It makes the most friends, usually due to help needed and secrets kept. I happen to have secured most of my friendships through like subterfuge and blackmail, where you get them to do something for you before they know that it's an illicit act or something, or it's going to make them an accessory. So that way they're kind of blackmailed into hanging out with you because you're like, hey, like you're on camera. I record all of our conversations. This is a single consent recording state. Like, this is all on record. So when they're pushing the marijuana pills up my butt, I'm like, yeah, okay. Aren't we the best friends? Aren't we best friends now? And then I turn around and jab him in the neck with a syringe and we trip together. Let's go to the next slide, please. These are some grass charts. Now, we talked about the four main types of marijuana, but of course, ever since it's become kind of like that legally gray area, people just kind of breed whatever the hell they want into it. You go down and you talk to Jim on the garage. You talk to Glenn with his perfect lawn. They're going to have completely different types of marijuana. Now, there's several types. I'm not going to get into like the real details. We got normal, fire, water, electric, grass, ice, fighting poison, ground flying, psychic bug, rock, ghost, dragon, dark, and steel. The purple monkey balls is a type that's only been recently discovered. That's fairy. This chart is outdated compared to the most recent ones that have been released. So there's a whole new column, hasn't been included. But you'll see, like I said, I can't go over this entire chart. If you see a triangle, it means that the two types, when you breed them together, makes a stronger weed. The circle makes like a gentler weed. It's called indica, which is like in the couch because it relaxes you. So that's going to make you like rounder. And an X means you shouldn't do it because if you smell it secondhand, you will die immediately on the spot. And your soul will not go to heaven. God just shuts the door. You can ask, not this Jesus, the other Jesus, when you see him. He can confirm that. So you don't want to combine dark and psychic. I mean, that's just asking for trouble. It says that in the Bible. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, I made this slide using a variety of methods. And I wasn't aided in marijuana during this. I don't tend to find creative help in being high a lot of the time. Like I'll jot ideas down and stuff like that. But for the most part, I make these slides when I'm sober because I know that I have to do this professionally, which is why I'm in a bedroom in a t-shirt with my hair uncombed and look at me. But my process is generally, I think hard, I make the slide, I eat a sandwich, just whatever goes on it. Sandwiches are like my last resort. It's just like, what have I got? And I put it on. And then I watched TV. It was great. I had a good time making this slide. That was only this slide, though. I had to make the others in the sweatshop. So let's go to the next slide, which I also made under duress. Now, Rainbow. Now, here's the thing about back in the old days when you bought drugs, and I'm saying drugs, not like caffeine, which is a legalized amphetamine effectively, or any sort of pharmaceutical. You had to do it like through an app or like an encrypted thing, or you had to pass a note to the teacher in class and meet them behind the dumpster, and then you had to pay in non-traceable funds, or NTFs, which have been kind of bastardized into NFTs, NTFs. They're very similar. And the thing about the illicit money market right now is that the bottom is crashed entirely out of the crypto market, which is hysterical if you don't have any crypto like me. So when I say 2 bricks of grass is worth 1,000 Bitcoins, I mean literally 2 bricks of lawn grass, and I'm talking big cinder block sizes, are worth 1,000 Bitcoins each, because Bitcoin is worth nothing more than the ones and zeros which make up its code base. I'm sure that when this episode comes out on YouTube in a few weeks, something's going to bounce back up. There's going to be some sort of market manipulation by all those deregulation cartels, and I'll get some comments saying like Dylan doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and they'd be right. But let's go to the next slide before I consider that too heavily. Now, in conclusion, the drug market, the money market, you can learn a lot about it, and the earlier you learn about it, the easier it is to get it when you're older, even if it's illicit. Because if you're older when you start doing drugs, I mean, we've all seen the guy who shows up to the anarchist meeting wearing like army fatigues, and you're like, dude, I don't know, like read the room a little bit. But when you get them in there young, they know that you wear like a black hoodie and you paint like slight shadows on your face in like eyeliner, so that way the camera recognition doesn't recognize your face. And you don't have to do the black bars over the eyes. I mean, depending on the drugs you get, sometimes you are standing next to like a wooden griffin, which he can tell you his secrets, but sometimes you got to put the pill in his butt. So I think that is probably going to conclude this presentation on weed. Grass for kids. A study of grasses for pre-K, and I think the K stands for ketamine. So do weed before you try ketamine. I think, yeah, thank you. And I will accept any questions. Let's hear from Jesus Christ, no relation.
Yes, before I get to my question, I would like to say, even though you are in a bedroom in a t-shirt, at least you're not in an echoey ass empty ass closet. I would like to ask you though about your weed chart.
Yes, can we bring that slide up, please?
Yes. You said not to mix the dark and psychic types.
Yes.
But that combination is the Luxray type of weed, which is in fact the best weed. It definitely will not kill you. It makes me think that you're not exactly up to date. Even you might not even be as up to date as this chart is.
I want to clarify, how much Luxray weed have you smoked recently?
Oh, it's been so much.
Yeah. It takes a very little. You just smoke like just
two.
And if you're not, my buddy smoked a little bit of Luxray weed, and the next day he got hit by a car. So I mean, that's 100% rate of death for my sample size.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So you just had a very small sample size. All right, I get it. You should probably learn how to do some science.
It sounds like mine is at least not a sample size made up of myself. So let's hear from Nick J.
I appreciate the sample size. Personal experience is good, but outside sources much better. Jesus, you should know that. You make a sandwich before you watch TV. I was just curious, what do you think the best sandwich is, and what order do you put the combination of ingredients together to make a sandwich to really get the creative juices flowing before you smoke monkey balls weed?
Yes. Good question. I am very egalitarian when it comes to your personal sandwich. I encourage you to make whatever is best for you. Experiment, try different options. You'll find something that clicks for you. When it comes to construction, bread, toast one side, use that toasted side as the inside so it can hold up to the sauce. Protein on the bottom so that when you cut it, it doesn't like drag the protein through everything. Cheese on top of the protein, so that way it's just, two best pieces right there. Veggies and toppings, toast the other piece, toasted side down, sauce that toasted side. And then like if you really want to put it on a panini press to get the outside kind of crispy, that's fine too. I'm just personally not a fan of cold sandwiches. So I find that's probably the stuff that gets me going. But again, the toppings depend on your personal taste.
It's good information. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if you smoke purple monkey balls beforehand, you'll get very daring with your sandwich ingredients. And W.
Thank you very much for this presentation. You've been bragging that you're very excited about giving this for weeks. First off, I'd like to make a comment to Jesus Christ of no relation. I apologize for the hollow room. I moved into this house literally yesterday, and I opened my laptop for this. So next week will be better. But I did have a question about this slide that the producers already have up. Now, this is an 8-slide presentation. Did you eat 8 sandwiches and watch 8 TVs?
Yes.
Oh.
TV's a bit of a misnomer because we're living in 2022 and I don't own a TV. I don't own a TV. There we
What are you
go.
doing? Are you
I'm,
taking your shirt
don't
off?
worry about it. I'm
Hold on.
stretching. I'm
Okay.
stretching. I'm stretching my shoulders so that
Don't
way
take your shirt off.
I'm not going to. I
Take
have
your shirt off.
Let's see the
We'll
weather.
get a vote from the audience, but take your shirt off and show us your. That wasn't the. I saw that
Yep.
comment.
Let's
come in.
go, bro. Come
don't
on.
try this on me. We'll do an episode shirtless if you want at some point.
Nah.
If I take my shirt off, we're all taking our shirts off.
No,
So-
we're playing
No.
Church First Skins. Me and W are on a team, bro.
Magic the Gathering, I'd take that bet. If Jesus Christ and I were gonna take you two in Magic the Gathering, I would 100% take that bet.
I'll take that bet too.
Misnomer on what TV is. I was watching TV programs. I keep all 8 streaming services open in separate windows, and I play different shows so that way I can maximize my content. Because that's all entertainment is right now. It's just content to be consumed mindlessly with no comprehension or appreciation for it.
I love that we all hate capitalism on
Yeah.
this podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a comment from somebody who loves capitalism. Blue Shoe Nick says, "Have you ever smoked so much grass you take your shirt off on camera?"
Have I? I don't think so.
I don't think so
Not
either.
on camera on a show. In high school, we did a lot of like movie making. So at some point, then I probably took my shirt off. But I wasn't smoking grass in high school. I hadn't seen his presentation, so I didn't know how to get it.
That's fair. Perfect. Without any more questions, that's going to be it for Mr. Dylan, who was a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
Now seems slightly oiled, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
Not as oiled as Jesus Christ, who is lubing himself constantly, which is disgusting. Okay, folks. Well, that seems to be the end of our presentation today. And if I can look at this script real fast, it's going to say, and now with all the presentations given, each member of the panel will indicate which speaker they believe deserves to win the $50,000 grant awarded from Some Nobodies Patreon account and the Collector's Nostalgia Prize, which again is a switchblade that is also a comb.
I could use that for my chest.
Ew.
He's talking about stabbing himself.
Yeah, I think you should get started with a squeegee first. All right, so let's see. Now I'm going to ask for a show of fingers. I have going once, Nick is second, Jesus Christ of No Relation is third, and Dylan is 4. So when I count to 3, please show me the finger you think of the presentation that won. 1, 2, 3. All right, Nick Jordan is the winner of the week. Awesome.
Thank you. No autographs. Just did it for the science. Appreciate you.
Oh, good. You read the writer.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to record a cameo for next week.
Don't worry, I'll pay very small money for it. Okay, now listen, that's going to conclude our conference of the week. Now, please, Nick Jordan, tell us what the topic of next week's presentation conference is going to be on.
Oh man, it is on the topic of switchblade combs and sweaty, nasty, terrible things that you would not want to rub a switchblade comb through. The best way to clean shit out of a pet's butthole.
Aw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
We've all been there.
I'm looking at my cat right now. I got to go do that as soon as I get the fuck off this thing.
It's with the
So.
switchblade
Excellent.
comb.
So it seems like next week's presentation is going to be on Michael Colby as a whole. Now, listen, I've been your host, Zack Wiseman, and my payment for doing this is to get somebody to give us a new outgoing slogan. So, Jesus Christ of No Relation, give us an outgoing slogan for a PowerPoint presentation.
PowerPoint me directly to Michael Colby's OnlyFans.
Okay, we'll put a link to that on the show notes. That's gross. Awesome. Okay, now let's say our goodbyes and everything. So, Jesus Christ of No Relation, where can people hear your voice?
You can hear me on Weird comedy podcast Jack Billings Presents, Haunted Apartment Complex on the Podmoth Network. You can also go for extra stuff to patreon.com/Jack Billings. You can also see me on my Instagram, on my Instagram, Jack Billings Presents, and on my OnlyFans, Moist Soccer Field.
That's the name of a band I was in high school.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that was a good band. All right, Dylan, who's a little rusty, where can people hear your beautiful voice?
Go listen to all of the stuff Some Nobodies does. The podcast of the year for the snobbies, No Time to Binge, where we watch the first and last episode of TV shows and fill in the middle for you, so because you don't have time. We're also on Talking Upstream and Twitching Upstream on Sundays and Tuesdays. This show streaming live Mondays and on YouTube channel at Some Nobodies on Thursdays, I believe. Thursdays?
Mhm.
Yeah, uploaded on Thursdays. They're a few weeks behind, so you can go back and catch all the good stuff. And we've got some stuff coming out later this year. It's I'm giving Zack plenty of work to do for the last 5 months of 2022.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Jordan,
And Michael,
tonight's winner. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, plenty
Nick,
of voice work.
you're still talking. Keep going.
I'm done.
Okay. Nick Jordan, tonight's winner. Where can people find you or hear you or look at you?
You can follow me on social media at Akrietta, Instagram, Twitter, AKRIETTA, and on TikTok. You can hear me on the radio in Raleigh, North Carolina, where they have very shitty grass on B92 or 93.9, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. And then if you're in College Station, Texas, June 25th, I'm going to be there doing stand-up. So buy your tickets. Go get them.
Awesome. And great job today, man. Thank you very much for being here and being a part of this. We really appreciate it. As far as everything you can see me, obviously, go check out things that Dylan's talking about. Dylan, how far are we at in the next season of Create Your Own Podventure?
Maybe have 30.
Solid. Just like when I took that experimental medication from Guadalajara, and my penis became like that. It was firm and solid and flat. Luckily, we were able to get it fixed.
Thank you for watching PowerPoint Showdown. Today's winner will receive a $50,000 grant courtesy of Some Nobodies Patreon. Congratulations on your win! Join us next week for another showdown. Thanks for providing that big prize, guys.